Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stryftek, and I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. Is it worth your time? On trial today. Animal Well. Made by solo developer Billy Basso and published by Big Mode, Donkey's publishing arm, this is a 2D Metroidvania that goes far deeper than I expected it to, pun intended. Out now on Steam and Nintendo Switch, Animal Well is probably one of the purest Metroidvania experiences I've had in a long time, and the secrets and puzzles seem to have no bounds. The only thing that seems to be missing is a story, but does a game need a story to be worth your time? Let's dive in. You awake from a flower as a brown blob? You follow some bunnies around and find some eggs. Ultimately, you realize your goal is to find the 4 flames and return them to where they should be. What these actually are or why you should be doing this? No idea. If there's more story than this, it's lost on me. There's no text to read, no tooltips to pick apart, nothing. In typical Metroidvania fashion, you start out with absolutely nothing and wander around until you figure out where to go and what to do. You find many blocked paths you can't yet traverse, but they open up as soon as you find the right item. What's unique about Animal Well are the items and how you use them to solve puzzles. And I feel like this is something you need to experience for yourself, so I'll only give one example here. One of the items you have is a slinky. Yeah, a slinky. And it does exactly what you'd expect a slinky to do. So often you're dropping it off a staircase towards a button while you go sprinting off in another direction to the door it's about to open. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. You end up solving big mazes where you're racing and redirecting the slinky from the other side of the room with various buttons and switches, or using it in combination with 2 or 3 other tools as you're trying to solve the puzzle placed before you. And while most of these puzzles start off pretty easy, they quickly get more and more complicated and demand more and more of your skill. And none of this is explained to you. You have to figure out each item and how to use them. Of course, when you first get an item, you're often in a room where you have to use it, so the level design often does force you to use it right then so you get a feel for it. But any other possibilities or advanced techniques are figured out on your own. The eggs you collect unlock more items and ultimately some of the final true ending of the game. So you want to be sure to be on the lookout for these, because they're often in well hidden and devious locations. And I absolutely admit I did look up many of the egg locations. I have no idea how the community found some of these. And once you roll credits, the game doesn't end. You find out there is lots more to do. More puzzles to unlock, more things to explore. I could easily double or triple my 6-hour playtime unlocking everything. There are entire sections and puzzles and areas that you will never see just rolling credits for the first time. And if you really plan on diving as deep as the well goes, make sure your PC is connected to a printer. Yeah, it goes that deep. This is a very quaint pixel art game that is mesmerizing. The graphics are relatively simple, but I think what really takes this over the top is the physics. Things like the fireworks going off and the smoke it produces, or the physics of these vines as things move through them. And what makes this incredibly impressive is that this game is about 30 megabytes. The audio alone that I've recorded for this video clocks in at about 40 megabytes. The popular phone game Candy Crush clocks in at about 225 megabytes. And the video I've captured for this game is about 113 gigabytes. There is just so much visual goodness put into such a small file. And of course, it makes a perfect companion for the Steam Deck or the Nintendo Switch. The soundtrack is mostly background. It helps set the mood and solidify you in this well. There are a few standout songs that I don't want to play because they're related to sections of the game that I don't want to spoil. You'll know them when you get there, and they are awesome. But this probably isn't a soundtrack I'm going to sit down and listen to at any point. So, is it worth your time? Well, the game doesn't have a story, the soundtrack is a bit light, but it has its moments, the graphics are visually pleasing, but everything really rides on the gameplay. And while at first I was a little disappointed, I was thinking this was a simple indie title that didn't have much depth, but it changed my mind. As the map continued to open up and I found more and more complicated and intricate puzzles, I started to realize that there is something special here. Many people have been hailing this as one of the best Metroidvanias of all time, and while I don't think it holds the #1 spot, I do think it fits in that top 5. So yes, this is worth your time. My name's Stryftek and thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, then this video is worth your time, so please drop a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Is It Worth Your Time?